Haley, per usual, having all of this energy to complain about everything, has the energy to complain about the trash being full. How about using that energy to throw the trash bag out and replace it with a new one? Well, we're back, everybody. Back to talk about one of the most miserable group of human beings to ever have to sit and try and watch on this damn show. It is a season with no redeeming qualities unless you are the most hardcore Devens, Dee, or Angela stan. There is literally nothing about this season that is redeeming. But let's get into the bullshit. Yesterday, Angela started mentioning how the night before, those 4 or 5, which is talking about FAP, aka 4 absolute pussies, and Yash staying up late the night before, which had Angela's paranoia brewing a little. There was a spark here that I was hoping that would maybe turn the tides against Drew if it comes down to Drew and Taylor. But that has not yet come to fruition, and I don't think it will unless it is a last minute D thing, which she does like. But we're gonna get right into the Karen watch today. Because the thing about this cast is their go-to is to be shitty to Lala and Taylor. And Haley especially has settled right back down into her Karen role. She's been hateful Haley since this game started. She is talking about how she's upset with Taylor because, God forbid, Taylor tried to have a real conversation with her. And now Angela, of course, who is the first Karen, who started this entire season on a bad foot with her Karen energy, she's been going around talking about how this happened to her during her season, and it feels like she's getting triggered by it. Haley said that she knows Angela is upset with how Taylor's acting, and then she made a comment in front of Mallory. This is Karen, aka Angela, who said this, the egg-shaped Karen, saying that she told Mallory to don't say anything to Taylor or don't talk to Taylor. Then, of course, when Taylor and Mallory were talking, Angela felt like she was getting dagger eyes from Taylor. Angela is triggered because of, in her first season, when she was a Karen there, she had that's the group comment when all the black players were having a conversation and she thought they were an alliance and they weren't. She lumped all the black players together, and then T-Core called her ass out to Angela's face, which is something missing from this season because we don't have people in the house willing to do that, and this cast is just too white. So it's no surprise that these two Karens have found common ground in not wanting to check their obvious bias, and in both of their cases, they always play the victim. It's typical Karen 101 behavior from both Angela and Haley, and we have seen it all damn season long. It is more than exhausting by this point in the season. And I think Angela thinks she's going to be able to get out of the house and she's going to be able to not get all that crap again like she did her first season. I think she has a storm coming. I do think there will be people out there that interview her that go soft on her. But as a collective, I don't think it's going to be very soft for Angela in the postseason. The only thing that will continue to be soft will be her egg-shaped body. Unless she manages to win this game, that's going to be the only big distraction from her having to face the music. Haley was having a conversation with Dee about how it's obvious that Taylor and Lala are not cooking and cleaning this week, and Dee says that's because they're have-nots. Haley was complaining about the bathroom being disgusting and that Taylor didn't clean it Sunday like she usually would, and Dee was saying that Taylor shouldn't do it. They were also talking about how the trash in the bathroom is so full, and yet people are still trying to throw trash in it, and it's just bouncing off into the ground. Two things I will say here is some of the people covering this conversation were acting like Dee was sticking up for Taylor and Lala, which she was in saying that they shouldn't be cleaning and she doesn't blame them. But they were trying to make it out like Haley was saying that Taylor and Lala should be the ones cleaning. And that's not what Haley was saying. Haley was, to be fair, Haley was just having this conversation with Dee about how Taylor and Lala are not cleaning and nobody else is either. However, I will say Haley, per usual, having all of this energy to complain about everything, has the energy to complain about the trash being full. How about using that energy to throw the trash bag out and replace it with a new one? Where is that? The white players in this house are disgusting. They are living like animals this week. They can't clean for themselves. They can't cook for themselves. They're burning shit, making gross looking food like Devens. I don't even know what kindergarten food Devens was eating the other day. Some of them are not showering every day. Like, if you are a white person defending this cast, I can only believe that it means that you are a dirty bitch. Like, you gotta be a grody motherfucker to be defending this cast, because it's bad enough having to defend their weak or piss poor behavior. But look at this cast. They're gross. Both inside and outside, just gross. Mallory was the one who finally took initiative to change out the bathroom trash. And I will say Mallory is someone that has helped with cleaning somewhat consistently, especially with dishes in the past. But I mean, I feel like I'm just giving credit to the bare minimum there where Mallory is concerned. Devens was having conversations yesterday about what happened the night before with Taylor and craziness. There was a lot of feed cuts the night before. They did not want us to hear Taylor and Haley conversations. God knows what stupid, weird shit Haley is saying in conversations with Taylor. Taylor had a conversation with Mallory yesterday about how one of them needs to win Blockbuster. But during this conversation, Mallory was doing a poor job of strategizing. What else is new with Mallory? She's not good in one-on-one conversations when it comes to not talking to Mallory, basically. And I feel like Mallory did a terrible job of discussing the votes with Taylor, basically saying that she wouldn't be a fourth vote for Taylor because she would rather vote with the House. Taylor also got confused in this conversation and also thought that Mallory said that she wouldn't be a fifth vote for Taylor either, but I'm not necessarily sure that's exactly what Mallory said. But like I said, in this conversation, Mallory was basically playing scared. What else is new? Playing fucking scared, even though she's on the block and she too could use Taylor's vote, but she's afraid to strategize with Taylor on the vote so that they both can stay, because at the end of the day, she still wants Drew to stay, even though Drew is one of the main reasons that Mallory is in the position that she is, although Mallory herself is also a reason why she is in the position that she is, because she's scared to play the game. So Mallory annoyed Taylor with that conversation. Taylor was retelling it to Lala and Dee at one point about how Mallory said that she wouldn't be the fifth vote for Taylor and that she's afraid to play with the House. I don't know. I just don't understand. Like a lot of you have pointed out in the comments, Mallory is supposed to be the rocket scientist. And this conversation, it was like she didn't actually realize she's on the block too, and she could use Taylor's vote too. Mallory basically saying that she will keep Drew if she wins the Blockbuster is stupid for two different reasons. Obviously, it's stupid because she still trusts Drew, but more importantly, she should want Taylor's vote if Taylor wins the Blockbuster. Even if Mallory was just lying in this conversation to try and get Taylor's vote, I thought Mallory completely sucked during that conversation. And I understand Taylor being annoyed afterwards, saying things like everybody in the house is an idiot. They are, because everybody in the house still wants to vote with the House. Oh my God, it's so follow the leader. It's so Big Brother 19 coded where the gameplay is concerned. But then on top of Big Brother 19, we have Big Brother 21 and Big Brother 15 vibes with this white ass disgusting cast. It's terrible. Devens more than soft launched to Barrett that Mallory might be the target over Taylor this week. And I don't know if Barrett completely realizes that yet, but I think he does. I think he is realizing that. And I think in typical Barrett fashion, he's going to do what the vets tell him to do at the end of the day. If Mallory stays up on the block, he will probably vote Mallory out. We didn't get to see Devens and Taylor talk the night prior because of feed cuts. We did get to hear them talk yesterday. I thought Taylor was making good pitches to Devens about how Drew or Mallory need to go because the four of them are dangerous, because if they are able to vote together in the future, they have 4 votes, aka Drew, Barrett, Mallory, and they could also vote together in jury. These are great points to be made. Taylor was also stroking Devens' ego during this conversation about how a lot of people in this house do things that don't make sense, but that Devens is never emotional and he plays a logical game. Taylor also thanked Devens for always talking to her and says he's one of the only ones that's not weird. I mean, Taylor was giving Devens praise for the bare minimum. God forbid somebody have a conversation with Taylor on this shit cast. But it's true. I will say that for Devens, he has always had conversations with Taylor throughout this whole game. I don't like how he knows that Taylor has always tried to play with him during this game, and then he gives cam talks talking about how Taylor doesn't play the game. That's when I think Devens needs to shove his own words up his ass. And that's kind of about it for the gameplay. Everything else is just more piece of shit behavior from the cast. We have Haley talking about how Taylor stays in her pod all day, but she has some pretty big balls to go and sit in the space yesterday next to Haley after their conversation. And I guess Haley took it as Taylor trying to start something and having an uppity mentality of I'm untouchable at this point. I don't know what Haley was spewing. Haley is definitely one of those people where if you were to have like a minute conversation with them, you would quickly realize how fucking stupid they are, and you would probably want to end that conversation. I don't know if anyone else has ever had conversations like that when you're talking to a person and you immediately clock that there's like nothing there and that they're just dumb and you want to just back away from the conversation. Or at least I do, because I hate stupid people like Haley. Dee had a conversation with Drew and Barrett about how she is sick of being left alone with Lala. Dee saying she doesn't want to be mean, but it's too much. Drew saying that Lala always involves herself and she made Angela's birthday about herself, which was not fucking true. They just sit there and dog on either Taylor or Lala. If Taylor goes this week, good luck, Lala. You're going to be the person completely shunned for sure. But what annoys me about Dee here and why she's full of shit and why there is racial bias here too, talking about how Lala only talks about herself and is only having concerns about herself all the time, yet Dee will sit and talk to Angela all the time, and that is Angela's entire game. All Angela has done this season is play victim, talk shit about when people are coming at her, about what people do to her. Nobody in this cast is more self-involved than that fucking egg-shaped Karen, except maybe Haley. They're going bar for bar when it comes to Karening it up. Drew again offered that he and Barrett could be bodyguards from little scary Taylor, this time to protect big Skeletor-looking Haley. Drew is always acting as if people need bodyguards from Taylor. Drew, of course, also once again wants physical violence done to Taylor in the competition, telling Mallory the best thing you can probably do is just tackle Taylor during that thing or jump in front of her face. If it's spot the difference, just cover her eyes the whole time. Last time it was Drew threatening that himself he will tackle Taylor during the blockbuster. I think this is very strange behavior. I think this is threatening behavior. You know, last season when Riley threatened to trip Ashley, we all jumped on that because it's very weird things to say. Drew's been saying this kind of shit all week. I think I might hit up Drew's workplace and see what they think about Drew's behavior this season, because I am that petty. Barrett, of course, still being the weak player and weak person that he is, has come to being okay with voting Mallory out this week. Like I said, Devens more than soft launched that maybe Mallory should go instead of Taylor yesterday. And then Drew and Barrett had this very stupid conversation where Drew was saying things about how the icons won't put him or Barrett up. And Barrett agreed. Barrett said Mallory says if she goes home this week, it ruins her whole experience. And Barrett does feel bad about that. But like Drew saying that the icons won't put he or Barrett up, I could swear that one of the icons put Drew up on the block this week, where he currently still is. These players, and I mean, I don't even want to call them players because they are not playing. So I guess I will say these idiots are so dumb that Drew was just put up by the cons and is still on the block because of the cons and has a ridiculous statement that the cons would not put up him or Barrett. It's so hard to believe we have almost an entire cast of dumb, idiot, weak losers, but here we are. Truly so hard to believe the stupid doormat gameplay from this season. The only thing harder is frankly Haley's face. Mallory tried to knock on Dee's door last night in the HOH room and wasn't let in. That's because Dee was listening to music. And then Mallory freaked out when Taylor knocked on the door and Dee let her in. So Mallory started spiraling to Barrett. Taylor went in to pitch to Dee that all four of them, aka FAP, aka four absolute pussies, could be in jury and vote who wins the game. And Dee agrees. Taylor says two of them said they would not vote for you, and Dee believes Taylor. So Taylor's pitch here again is using jury to her advantage when it comes to Dee, which I think is smart. And I think Dee believes her. I think Dee believes that Taylor would be a vote for her in jury, and that there's people in FAP that might not vote for her. So I think Taylor is fighting as hard as she can to stay with this damn cast. I think she only stays over Mallory, though. At this point, she still goes over Drew, unless, Dee does something last minute like she could. Dee and Mallory did end up talking. Mallory was let into Dee's HOH room. Mallory was just trying to squash the beef with Dee, but I don't think that really worked. By the end of the night, Haley and Barrett were both agreeing that they will evict Mallory if Taylor wins the blockbuster. Just two more people proving that they are not playing their own games. Haley should want Taylor to go over Mallory if that's what the vote comes down to. And Barrett should too, because he's closer to Mallory. And look, I want Taylor to stay only because she is the one that I like the most on the block this week. Wouldn't mind her going so she could be away from this fucking house. Honestly, these fucking people. But when it comes to playing their own games, Barrett and Haley should not want Mallory to go this week. It makes no sense for their game. So them having this discussion just again proves how nobody is playing their own games in this terrible season where it's just still all about the vets, all about these cons who we will hopefully never see on reality television again after the way this season is going. I don't think we will unless it's another terrible Paramount show.